Once upon a time, in a village nestled at the foot of a great mountain, there lived a woman named Ilara, who was known for starting many things but finishing none. She had a house filled with half-knitted sweaters, half-carved wooden bowls, and gardens where the seeds were planted but the weeds were left to grow. Ilara's heart was always full of passion at the beginning, but as soon as the work became difficult, her spirit would fade like a dying candle. She felt like a failure, a person who drifted through life like a leaf in the wind, never rooted and never reaching the sky. One day, Ilara decided she wanted to learn the art of the great harp, an instrument that produced music so beautiful it was said to heal the soul. She bought a harp made of golden oak, but after only 3 days of practice, her fingers ached and the notes sounded harsh. She looked at the giant instrument and felt the familiar urge to walk away. She was ready to cover it with a cloth and let the dust claim it, just like her other dreams. Instead of quitting, Ilara went to see the old clockmaker, who lived in the village square. He was a man who understood the value of every tick and every tock. She told him her problem. "I want to be great, but I cannot survive the long hours of practice. My mind grows weary and my body wants to run." The clockmaker did not give her a lecture on hard work. Instead, he reached into his pocket. "Ilara," he said with a quiet smile, "your mistake is that you are trying to climb the mountain in one night. I want you to make a 5-minute promise every day. No matter how tired you are or how much you hate the task, you must sit with your harp for only 5 minutes. When the sand runs out, you are free to stop." Ilara laughed. 5 minutes is nothing. How can 5 minutes make me a master?" The clockmaker tapped his forehead. "It is not about the music, yet it is about the mind. You are not practicing the harp. You are practicing the habit of not quitting." Ilara went home and placed the sand timer next to her harp. That evening, she felt exhausted from her chores and wanted to sleep, but she remembered her promise. She sat down and turned the timer. For 5 minutes, she played simple scales. When the sand ran out, she felt a strange sense of relief. She had kept her word. The next day, she did the same. And the day after that, because the task was so short, her mind did not fight her. It was only 5 minutes after all. But a strange thing began to happen. Some days when the sand ran out, Ilara found that her fingers were already warmed up and her heart was finally beginning to enjoy the melody. She would often stay for 20 minutes or even an hour. But on the days when she was truly miserable, she still did her 5 minutes and then stopped with a clear conscience. Months passed, and the 5-minute promise became a permanent part of her life. She no longer felt the heavy weight of a big task because she had broken the giant wall of her fear into small, manageable stones. She applied the same promise to her garden and her carving. 1 year later, the village was filled with the sound of heavenly music. Ilara sat in the square, playing the great harp with a grace that brought tears to the eyes of the listeners. She was no longer the woman of unfinished things. She was a master of her craft. The clockmaker watched her from his shop and whispered to himself, "The greatest changes start with the smallest clock ticks." Ilara realized that greatness is not about a single heroic effort, but about the small promises we keep to ourselves when no one is watching. Dear friends, we often fail because we think we need to do everything at once. We wait for a big block of time or a huge burst of energy. But the secret to a transformed life is the 5-minute promise. Pick one thing you have been avoiding, reading, or exercise, and promise yourself just 5 minutes today. Do not worry about the results. Just focus on showing up. For when you master the first 5 minutes, you gain the power to master the rest of your life.